In chapter 4, Paul picks up on this veil metaphor from the previous chapter. He says in verse 3, if the good news we preach is hidden behind a veil, it is hidden only from people who are perishing. And look at what it says in verse 4. Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. How true is that? Maybe you can think of that in your own life. Maybe how it happened for you, or maybe some friends in your life that just don't see the simplicity of the gospel message from the Bible. It says they're unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. And so this veil image. And then he shifts to another image. He says this in verse 7. We now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. So that's the image. Like there's this incredible treasure, the treasure of Christ and his gospel and the truth of the Bible and this incredible message that Paul is bringing to the Corinthians. He says, so this is this incredible treasure, but we're the ones who contain this treasure, and we're not very durable. Like we're fragile jars that can easily be broken. And his point is this. He says, this makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. So the power is within us, even though we ourselves are fragile, because it's not about us, it's about God. So he says this in verse 8, we are pressed on every side by troubles, but we're not crushed. We're perplexed, but we're not driven to despair. We're hunted down, but we're never abandoned by God. We get knocked down, but we're not destroyed. So through suffering, our bodies continue to share in the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be seen in our bodies. What a beautiful picture here. He's saying, man, we're being pushed, and living for God, trusting Jesus, honoring God in this life is not easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but we're not going to be destroyed, not because of us, not because of how great we are, because we're just fragile clay jars, but because of the message and because of the power of God in us and because of the Spirit of God empowering us and leading us. That's what he's saying here. And I love how he ends this. He says in verse 18, so we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. For the things that we see now will soon be gone, but the things that we cannot see will last forever. And he's talking about this paradox of the already and the not yet. We're already saved. We already have everything we need in Christ. But in the meantime, this world has trouble because this world isn't sanctified. This world isn't purified. It's still the enemy, the devil, the god of this world has blinded the minds of unbelievers. And so that means that for Christians, it's not going to be a cakewalk. But what he's saying is don't give up on it. He's saying instead change your focus. Focus on the reality of the world to come. And then that will give sort of context and perspective for the life that we live right now, and the fact that it's not always, gumdrops and lollipops in this life. So that's chapter 4 of 2 Corinthians. Go ahead and read it on your own, and we'll see you in the next chapter.